typically, it opens on April 1st to actually rent those for the season, and they are usually filled by that day. Heavy demand, heavy use, and that's what this is for. And they currently have plenty of money. They've been pulling out everything they can, and they have an account right now that's pretty healthy for local recreational activities, which is their charge. They are advisory to the commission, so it's our job to approve their decisions. Or not.
Which one's the newer one?
I think
Two?
it's at, I think, these are replacing 1 and 2. I think it's 4, but don't quote me on that.
I'd make a motion to allow the trust board to partner with the Silos Recreation to make improvements for KOA to replace 2 gazebos.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed grants by the trust board for the silos. All those for the replacement of 2 gazebos. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, perfect. I don't think there's anything to sign. Generally, what I do is just send an email to Debbie, to the secretary, and let her know. Just double checking. Oh, actually, we'll sign this one in Trey Jan. Thank you very much. All right, so, 11:30, fiscal year 17 county budget, public safety, library, general fund decisions. Would you guys like to come up and, talk to us about the library? And before we get started, I want to thank you. I guess ours is pretty unique in the state, our relationship with the library.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
so, hello.
All right. And I don't know what you want us to do, or if you have questions specific to this. I guess I'll just start off with saying, I'm kind of lucky in the respect that I did not do the first budget. So any differences between the first one and this one that I've had a part of, we're still trying to work through those things and still trying to come up with the right answers to the right questions to make sure that we are working together on this. I'd also like to say that in the future, as long as I'm here, we'll have a more consistent manner of doing things. We had to do a lot of research to try to figure out how this budget is set up right now and how it's been set up in the past. And it's been done several different ways, which kind of draws away from the consistency that we want to have. So that's our goal in all of this. So this is a good conversation to have for both sides, I believe. So.
Debbie, would you join us too, since you're the brains of this outfit? Thank you. So, this is what we know at this point, so correct us where we have holes and educate us where we need to be educated. It looks like the budget was changed this year to create a separate account so that the county pays for librarian staff and services after school hours, and the school is paying during school hours, and so there was a jump in the portion that the county is supposed to pay based on that. Is that accurate?
Actually, what I think was going on was, we would submit the budget, and I think, to be honest with you, the spreadsheet coming from our department was confusing. So I think the amount being paid was a certain amount, and the actual amount needed was a higher amount. And so what was happening was, we thought the budget was approved because we didn't get anything, and maybe in the future, we need to say, you know, this budgetary amount was approved by the county and get a monetary amount. And so what had happened through the course of this year, I was, how it works is I do all the requisition, and then I go meet with the superintendent and figure out, you know, workman's comp and what the public librarians get paid and everything, and then we put it in a spreadsheet, submit it to the board, and then the board submits it to you. Well, through the course of whatever happened, I think the spreadsheet was somewhat confusing, and there was quite a lack in the amount of money that was being received. And I found out from the district clerk this year that there was a big difference between what we were getting paid and what we had budgeted for. How the budget generally works is there is 3 county employees, and they make up about 30 hours a week. Some of it's overlapping with school hours. The school takes and pays for all maintenance and custodian and takes care of the building. And then we kind of share 50-50. When I do the requisition, I go through and split things like the book budget is split 50-50. Some things the school pays 100%, and some things the county pays 100% because it comes out of county money. And then we split things like magazines 50-50 and things like that. So I just go through and determine what the school should pay totally and what the county and the school pay together, et cetera.
So what you calculated in salaries, and what's confusing for us is, this is just for the county employees, not for the school employees, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
And I think that's what the confusion was in her spreadsheet. She put school in there, and then she puts the county, and then she doubled it together, and then I think it just got really confusing. So I just think it was something that was overlooked because it was hard. So it is split somewhat. The only thing that the county pays for school librarians, and what's not in, the school salaries aren't included in here, is just a stipend for myself. That's the 3,000, whatever it is. The rest of it is what the county people get paid through
And what's your title?
head librarian. Yeah, it's 4,960. There's vacation, work leave, you know, all that other stuff, and telephone.
And I think, to be honest, I think part of the confusion came with the year previous to me getting here, because I have this spreadsheet that was submitted by Ms. Andrea Johnson. And the total on that, and looking at the spreadsheet, was the county portion was going to be the 70,286. And again, this may have been confusing, and this is just what I could find. It doesn't mean this is what ended up with you, but it's to the Broadwater County Commissioners. We see a jump there. One of the big things is the cost of books, increasing the number of books, some of the staffing things are kind of there. The revenues we received that year from the county totaled 53,651, so the discrepancy is in those two numbers. This is what was approved, this is what we received. I can kind of see where there could be confusion here, because again, I'm kind of part of that confusion in reading this going, I'm not sure what happened. So I'm hoping we can figure out what happened between the two so we can get this. Then we did this budget for this year. It was very similar and kind of fed off of what was done last year by Ms. Johnson. And we actually had Ms. Watson do this spreadsheet. She's a numbers person. She's very good at this and very precise. So it kind of makes it easier for me to read, Andy to read, et cetera. So I think this confusion doesn't start now, it's just continuing. And if we can get that clarified, then we'll all be sitting very well on this.
We're finally shedding a light on it.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
think that's what needed to be done a lot earlier. And it had to be pointed out to me that I actually put the budget together this year, because I didn't realize we had a compact that said I was supposed to do it, so Pam said, yes, you are. I said, oh, okay. So I did do that with her. I guess I want to also point out when we look at it and say what the school actually pays for and what we do. A lot of those things that aren't in this normal budget here that family spreadsheet on is basically what the school pays for outside of what's here on this sheet. This, we pay for the school librarians during the school time, the workers' comp on that, the health insurance for that, electricity, water, et cetera, and that comes to about $105,000 a year too.
Internet.
So a lot of that's just stuff, the coffee machine lease, we take care of that. Just a lot of those incidentals that, you know, we do the maintenance on it, which is a great agreement. I love the idea of what we're doing, it's just a new concept to me.
Sure.
Never been to the district.
What is that last, 150?
105. Yes, $105,482. So those are things that just really aren't figured into that budget. They're just maintenance of building. Some of us paying directly for our staff. That does not really affect community, but the other stuff is basically during community time, school time. And it's just kind of all those things we covered as far as the building maintenance.
So the budget you're currently, what's the number you're currently county side?
On the county side right now, it'd be $70,902.37.
37 cents.
And what we have in mills for revenue is 753. So a shortfall from the county side of 17,149.37.
Shortfall of 17,000.
149.37. And that is just over a mil. So I guess the first question for the commission is, this has always been a shared library. The burden should be shared 50-50, which it looks like this accomplishes that. Is there an argument to that from either commissioners?
No, I mean, community members benefit just as much as school benefits from it, so it is both of us need to. So no, I don't have an argument with that.
Franklin, you good with that?
How are we gonna come up with this extra money?
Well, I think we need to establish that we're in agreement on paying this additional amount. We're in agreement that we owe it for our library so that we can move forward. Are you in agreement?
Well, technically, probably so, but the sheriff's office over there waiting for money. We got everybody waiting for more money.
That's the job you signed up for.
Well, that's where we're gonna have to start putting the brakes on. I mean, that's the way it comes out, I mean.
Okay, so you got two commissioners that agree that we are a partnership that should be 50-50.
Well, I agree with partnership, all right, but I say,
53?
Yeah, what we received last year was 53, and I don't know if it was approved or not, I just know this is the letter that came from Andrew before to attend this.
So it was actually supposed to be 70 last year, and the year before was approximately 53 again.
So the last several years, it's been 53.
Yes, now, here's a historical
Right,
look
right
at
now.
those. Pam is a magician when it comes to numbers, so.
And that would be,
65104.
those would be the mills when they go. Yeah. Do you know off the top of your head how much we have in CMP? In the library?
I think it got dwindled down the year, they did something with roof and
Roof
computers.
computers, right there.
Yeah, okay.
12,388 for road. Is it down to zero?
Pretty close. I
So
think
there
it's
might
been,
be some interest and a little bit of dollars from interest that he's throwing there. I think it,
one of the things that we've been talking about this budget season is the need for a grant writer. There's so much money out there for, for counties, for almost every facet of what we do. And some of our departments are not getting grants. One is there's no training, they don't know what to do, they're overwhelmed when they start thinking about it. So we've been talking about, maybe we should be looking at a county grant writer. Are there any grants that could help fill in the shortfall that you guys know of that we're not applying for? We do have an employee who's interested in learning, and I'm wondering if this could be, if there's anything out there you guys are aware of, that could be part of the solution.
Not that I am directly aware of. I spend most of my time working on the federal grants and the state grants for
Sure.
schools, so we can do a little bit of homework and see if there are monies available out there. I think the idea of the county grant writers is a very good one. I think there are enough entities right here in Townsend that might be interested in it if people were to pool some funds together to help finance that. And also, a lot of these professional grant writers take a percentage off of the grants they receive as the administrator.
Right.
It could at some point be self-sufficient. I know the school would definitely entertain that idea and maybe put in our heart to start something like that.
I think there's 66 in there.
Okay.
I know the state library would be willing to help with some of the stuff, and we have gotten several grants, but most of our grants are things like, technology tools. We received a grant a number of years ago that allowed us to have all of the, touchscreen computers over there and so I had a monthly, follow-up grant where you would, document how it was being used and things like that, and that lasted for about 2 years. But I'm not aware of any right now, but the state library would be an excellent source to see if there is things. I know there's something recently I saw that you could get funding for books with the after-school program if you started to launch a pilot program of some sort.
I guess the other thing I would caution with the county grant writers, we have to be careful that, I know a lot of situations in schools, we have people write these wonderful grants, and then as soon as money comes in, they walk away, and I'm stuck managing the money. I know that sounds like a tough problem to have, spending money, but a lot of times it is, because there's reports that go with it. My times, I'm busy. I don't mind doing things for the right cause, but when it becomes just, find a way to spend it and then write this report, it's like, wait a second, we're getting away from it. So I would just caution when we look at that we make sure it's somebody that's willing to stick around and administrate.
Absolutely, and Nick's kind of an expert on that side of things.
Yeah.
Part of our discussion has been, we need somebody who not only will write the grants, but will administer as well, because we can't be relying on people who already have a full-time job to be doing that as well.
Oh, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't be losing money.
Yeah.
No, because I was just talking with our weed department this morning. Grants are wonderful, and they bring in a lot of money, but if you're an administrator, like he is, writing grants, and one duty's gonna give, and whether it's your management of the grant, or whether it's your administration duties in the profession that you're in, one of them's gonna give. Just because grants are they're so hands-on, you just can't, oh, I got the money, see ya. There's just a lot that goes into them, so.
Yep, just ask me about our school chicken coops.
So last year, you got the 53,651.04. You were expecting 70,286. What happened? How did you guys overcome that huge shortfall?
I had some orders that didn't come in, and that helped some.
We were lucky enough that, of course, we have, with the levy that passed, it's done some wonderful things for us with staff, with those things. And so we were able to pick up the cost of staff, because it is, bottom line, it comes, the people that we have working with our kids in our school are the most important thing. we were able to overcome that deficit. That does not mean we'll be able to do that every year.
Exactly.
That's the hard thing with budgets.
Right.
And, you know, I kind of walked into that, a new budget, which, again, it takes some time to get used to and where it needs to be.
I cut down on monthly book orders. Some of them are set, like the supplies, once they're ordered, our hands are kind of tied because we have to pay the employees and we have to buy supplies. So really, the only thing, once the budget's set, I have to really cut down on books. So I can't order anything if we don't have the money.
Sure.
So that's kind of basically what it
Yep,
amounts to.
that would be our zero-based
Yeah.
budgeting, just like we do with schools. We wait till a certain point, I think it's around March, when we say, okay, now it's time to do all your orders. And if we have money, we'll order what we can. If we don't, this is what you have to work with.
Right.
And so we're able to cut at that point.
So they're short about 2 mils.
We have 1.26 extras. If you multiply that, you can actually come up with 18.7. So that could be where we put that additional 1.2 mils. We have, of course, other departments that want the money. And that's our job, is to figure out how to adhere to the whole. But I do think, we can address this. I just don't know how yet. We'll be having a discussion into the nitty-gritty of the numbers here shortly, later on today. So what I would suggest is one, that we communicate better. And we will maybe have you guys come back and talk about what we can do detail-wise,
Okay.
and see if there's a compromise or what we come up with that can fill in our share of the costs.
So I guess what I'd like to do then on our end, sorry, I'm picking at things, to do on our end is look at this budget a little bit closer and see what we can do on our end. And I think if we can come up with a compromise, we'll give and take on both ends.
Well, yeah.
I think we can close that gap a lot better, where we'll leave some funds for you guys to go different directions with, but it won't totally deplete what we
No.
need.
Oh, exactly. Well, yeah.
That sound okay?
I think also
Sounds great.
too, a good way to do that is sort of like what we've done with city council, is meet and at least come to your meeting or whatever and help figure this out with you. Just work a lot closer to figure that out. I think that's the only way to overcome these types of situations, actually hands in the mixing pot together.
Perfect. I think it would be great to establish a library budget meeting right there at the school and
Yeah.
invite everybody and sit down and look at that, to where we know what we're taking to our board, you know what you're taking to you guys. So
Sure.
we're all, instead of, being surprised and going, now what do we do?
Right.
But yeah, let's see what we can do on our end of it. And then we'll go from there.
That sounds good.
We're more than happy to come visit with you whenever we need.
All
Excellent.
right, excellent.
Thank you for the information.
You bet. Would it be helpful if I left
Please.
this
Yes, that'd be
information with you?
great,
Yeah, that's last year's, this year's. The rest of these are kind of historical breakdowns, but it's in that.
Yep, that'd
one
be
sheet
great.
that has all
Right.
this on it.
Can we keep this one too?
Yes, please do.
All right,
Please do.
excellent.
Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to call me anytime.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Miss Ann.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And before we move into the next discussion, could you grab Nicole? She's on the list. Yes, Mike?
Hey, you guys had Mike Delge, you guys had a discussion with the people in Three Forks
Uh-huh.
about opting out of their taxes for the library. That's something that you're gonna have to consider in that budget process? Do you have any idea how much that will amount to?
I don't think, yeah.
A little bit, it's not gonna be a huge hit, but there will be some. So, yeah, it's foremost on our minds. Yeah, you know what, we're gonna recess for 2 minutes. Thanks.
ask you to stay if you don't mind. It
So-
brings the outfit first.
You know, the key to this deal was that us being affiliated with the county. So how do you define why is a nursing home affiliated with the county? Is that through the district board? Is that where that tie-in comes in at? Because that was the facility had to be affiliated with the county in order to receive those funds. So how do you define the affiliation? Is it because the hospital board receives taxpayer mills, or is it because it is simply located in the county?
It's a district hospital. So that qualifies the nursing home to accept ITG monies.
Because it's a district board, or directed by the district as elected.
Because the whole organization is connected to the district board for levying tax.
Okay, so
And
Silver
the difference between that unit up there.
Silver Springs is not affiliated with the county in any way. It's a completely private entity, where you guys are a private entity, basically, you're a private entity, basically subsidized by the county, thereby available to, eligible to receive the intergovernmental transfer.
Yeah, if you go back to the inception, the county was involved with the financing of the building. If, for whatever reason, Townsend Health System Board threw up their hands and said, we're done. It's the county's. It's always been the county's. But what the county was trying to do is they don't feel